Welcome back to Villain Review episode 78, and today we are looking at Alex Mercer from Prototype 2. Shout out to Shadow Master King for suggesting Alex, and I even did him a little bit earlier because he shows up to the Final Fantasy streams. Guys, check those out, they're fun times if you don't already. Is Alex Mercer a boring villain though, or is he the perfect example of a fallen hero? Let's break that bad boy down and find out.
We've got Alex Mercer in RZ Grid 3-4. Alex Mercer is in the AO.
So Alex Mercer is a scientist. He does science things. Planets, quantum physics, dinosaurs, all of these are science words. In charge of the mysterious blacklight virus, Alex and his team were given the task of finding new ways to weaponize viruses given to them by Gentek. As the group experimented with the virus, the team in charge of containing Outbreak's Blackwatch would say, "Alex, my boy, please stop." And Alex would say, "No to the way, aho, ahazay." And then Blackwatch would go on to just kill everybody involved with the virus, including Alex. So while Alex Mercer is in fact a dead man, the virus itself became sentient and convinced itself that it was Alex Mercer, although devoid of all his past memories and experiences. Quote unquote, Alex would then go on to become a superhero with a bunch of different powers, including shape-shifting, super strength, super speed, pretty much all the super things you can super have. The man is near a god. However, after doing side quest after side quest for quite some time, Alex Mercer would go, wait a second, why do people keep doing bad things? If I were to consume everyone and make a hive mind race like that really dope episode of Rick and Morty, that shit would be freaking sick. As a matter of fact, I think I'm the bad guy now, and I think I'm gonna do that. Cool. So I think the whole origin for Alex is pretty interesting, and there's a lot going on from how he became a hero to how he slowly turned into a villain. I think as far as the villain side goes, it's actually kind of a fair point. It's kind of like the Thanos motive, where you're kind of like, I kind of get it. I mean, people are always doing bad things, so in terms of how it sounds from Alex's point of view, it kind of makes sense. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with taking away free will, but it kind of makes sense.
I want to destroy them. Blackwatch and Gentek and their virus, and I want your help.
So, yeah, there's no real good way to say this, so I'm just gonna do it. I think Alex is kind of boring. I'm not really sure why superhero games couldn't do this in 2009, because he honestly feels kind of similar to Cole McGrath and how they're both just gritty characters and gritty world. I got superpowers now. Infamous 2 at least had some more color, and of the 4 games, that one is by far my favorite, but I think Alex is just a little too gritty for me. You can have gritty characters and have them be interesting, but I feel like Alex's whole personality is just, he's badass.
Excuse me, J-Films, he's not even human. He's a virus, so you can't expect him to have a whole lot of personality.
Actually, high-pitched J-Films, I hear your point, and I think the whole dynamic of a non-human is interesting, or it can be, if you have that idea of them learning what it's like to be human. Just look at T2. But I don't really see that here with Alex. We get moments where his sister says, oh, he used to be full of life, and he used to be positive, and he used to be an interesting character, but I want to see that instead of just hearing about it. I also don't think the performance is anything special, and the fact that they changed voice actors, I don't really like that. That's never really fun for me. Overall, it's just hard for me to get excited about Alex as a character, or even say that I care about him. His powers are cool, don't get me wrong, and the twist is also unique. I just think he's kind of bland.
When there's enough of us, you and I will lead an attack that will wipe Blackwatch and Gentek off the face of the earth.
While he might be a little bland as a character, Alex does in fact have some cool scenes. When I said his personality is just, he's a badass, that makes him kind of boring, but it also makes for some really cool moments. In both games actually, Alex has some great moments, and because he's so powerful, it makes for some cool, just badass scenes. I do like how he's the heroic figure in the first game, and I like watching everyone react to him turning evil in the second one. The whole savior turned evil thing is pretty cool, and I like hearing about it from people in the city. While he is indeed bad to the ass, I think it's a little lame how he goes out. I think the whole fight with James is kind of anticlimactic, and I just wish it was more exciting. I also don't really buy how he even loses to James. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense in the universe, in my opinion. Maybe I don't know enough about the games, but it just seems kind of weird. I know there's that theory where, oh, Alex let James win, but I don't know, it's just a theory, and it kind of just comes across as the hero needs to beat the villain, so that's what's gonna happen. He's a badass, sure, but he also has some very not badass moments. Good ass? Is that the opposite of badass? Good ass? Sure, let's go with that. Oh my gosh, the city's being torn apart. Alex Mercer, man, he's going crazy with his crazy virus powers. Whoa, 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 there, pal. Okay, you can't, okay. Can someone please turn that off? Thank you. Okay, listen, like I said, you can't say that word. Virus? Don't say the V word, bro. Don't you dare say it. Why can't I say it? Because if you look right down there at the date of this video, it's kind of a sensitive time to say that word. I can't talk about how terrible his fine, his sick. I can't talk about how he's causing a lot of suffering and how he's like the most evil thing in history ever. Nope. Wait, isn't one of this channel's most viewed videos about a virus? Okay, no, that one was sexy, doesn't count. Whatever, dude. Hi, I hope everyone is enjoying this villain review so far, but I'm just here to tell everyone that J Films and its series villain review are very much against all bad things, sickness, violence, and Game of Thrones Season 8. Peace and love is always the answer, no matter what, and it is important that... Wait, what about... Peace and love, people.
Such a waste. Goodbye, Heather.
The whole consume everyone thing, first of all, it sounds kind of gross, but it is a pretty evil thing to do. While I do think the reason behind his evil switch is fair, I wish we saw some of that in-between time because not seeing it is kind of a bummer. I wish we got more stuff of Alex actually going from good to bad, and its absence is felt, at least in my opinion. He does though do some more evil things besides just wanting to consume. It's so weird to say. And the fact that he causes the death of James's wife and daughter, that is indeed a messed up thing to do. While I do enjoy the fact that he does some evil things from a villain's standpoint, that missing middle piece makes it seem a little strange when looking back at the hero from Prototype 1. Overall, I think while he has a pretty interesting evil plan, I'm just not sold on the transition from hero to villain, and it feels a little more like a gimmick and not really like just a natural character progression.
So now the only thing standing between me and Earth's true destiny is you.
Alex is one of those villains who his origin is pretty interesting, but he kind of struggles to get off the ground from there. As a character, I think he's kind of flat, and while he does have some cool scenes, he also has some ones that don't really make that much sense. Lastly, he does some truly evil things, but I'm not sold on that transition from hero to villain, and I just wish we saw more of that. I'm gonna give Alex Mercer a 5.
Humanity is stagnant, dying. I would give it one body, one mind.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Villain Review, and if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, because I make a new one every single Monday. As always, let me know who I should review next, and go vote on the poll for next week's review. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.